This is a really sophisticated game with no sign of any crude humor or sexual innuendos or even any foul language of any... What? Really? That. As you guys could probably figure out, Far Cry Primal is anything but sophisticated. It takes players back, way back to the Mesolithic era. You play as an ancient man, Takkar, who's on a quest to reunite all his Wenja people and fight against the oppressive Udam, who are literally eating his people. Far Cry Primal is the latest in a long line of first-person shooters that have had fairly decent commercial success. The only difference that some people say there is in Far Cry Primal is that there's no guns. And I do have to agree with this statement somewhat. Far Cry Primal has kept the same formula that they've used in the past Far Cry games, for better or for worse. The staples that you do expect out of a Far Cry game do make a good return. The large amount of content that is at your disposal, the cool exploration through some rugged and interesting terrain, those definitely make a return, and they're done very similar to past games, but that's what made those past games good, so it's no surprise that the developers decided to return to this in this game. The plot in Far Cry Primal is surprisingly weak, driven mostly by the lack of an interesting protagonist or main villain. The main villain in the game that you fight is really uninteresting. You don't have that many interactions with him early in the game to really develop that hate for him like you did with the villains in Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4. As well as Takkar, the main protagonist, doesn't really speak that much, so you don't get to know the character you're playing as that well, so it's hard to really form an emotional attachment to him. There are some memorable characters in Far Cry Primal, like there's a guy with only one arm who ends up peeing on you at some point, which these are some interesting and funny even moments, but they're so spread out and you don't interact with these characters that much throughout the game. I think the weak plot has something to do with the setting and the choice to go with the ancient language and the subtitles. It's really hard to get invested in the characters when the language that they were using back then was kind of primitive. They spoke in simple words and simple English, so it's hard for them to really articulate what they mean so that we can really understand them as people. And when you're just reading off the subtitles, you also can't look at their face when they're speaking at the same time either. This caused, for me at least, to not really know any of these characters that well, because I was just reading off their dialogue.
Udam!
Nu, Takkar, massi hayauda.
The basic gameplay of Far Cry Primal will be really familiar to fans of previous Far Cry games, but the changes that they've made actually go over really well. The combat has shifted from the use of guns, obviously because you can't use them in this time period, to a focus on bows and close quarters combat. This can sometimes take away from the strategy of engaging in battles, because it ends up devolving into you just bashing the shit out of your enemy right in the head. But that doesn't mean it's not fun. Running around and using your animal and just beating people over the head can actually be a really fun time. The addition of being able to throw your club or spear at enemies to kill them also adds to this feeling of just a chaotic battlefield. Running around, bashing people's heads in with your club or launching a spear at them from a distance just makes for a really chaotic and just hilarious battlefield to fight in. One of the coolest additions that I've got to talk about is the addition of the Beast Mastery skill. This allows you to tame wild animals and have them follow you as companions. You can command them to run and attack other people, to go to certain spots. They'll even sneak around with you when you sneak. There's a wide range of beasts that you can tame, command, and even ride, and each of them have their own unique skills. Some are better at sneaking, some are stronger, and some are faster. So this would allow you to choose different beasts that would be better for different situations. The addition of the owl as well to replace the binoculars from past games actually works much better. You can call in your owl to swoop over the battlefield to survey it and tag enemies for you. It makes a lot of sense and works so well in this environment. While the beast mastery is extremely cool, I think there's a huge missed opportunity in terms of the pacing. I played for about 2 hours, and I had tamed probably 10 of the beasts. That's almost all of them, and I had all the good ones. What a huge missed opportunity for maybe forcing you to climb your way up the food chain and play with a certain beast for a long time so that you can really get attached to them. Now I just got the best ones early, and I find that I never use the ones that aren't quite as good. Where you put all these new skills and combat techniques to use is when you go in and you invade the enemy's outpost. This is probably the most fun part of the game. Being able to choose between just running in head first and trying to bash everyone's head in with a big, maybe bear behind you taking all the damage, or maybe picking a leopard and sneaking your way in through the back. Both ways are equally fun and really rewarding, even adding bonuses to the sneaking pathway if you do it without being noticed. Really, really fun, and this echoes previous editions of the game as well. I'm so glad that they managed to capture the same feel that made previous games in the series great. The crafting system is very similar to past games. You'll be able to collect all sorts of raw materials throughout the world, wood and slate and reeds and all sorts of plants and animal hides that you can use to craft new pouches and bags and weapons for your character to use. This time around though, I felt like it had a bit of a grindy feel, like I had to go and find a bunch of these obscure resources that just didn't pop up normally just to get one level up into my club, for example. But I found that I didn't even really need to increase all these for me to be effective during battle, so I ended up saying forget it altogether. I know some players will really appreciate this system though, because the hunting is really intricate and getting animal hides can be really tough, so it's a great challenge for players who are interested in that type of thing. As well, most of the new additions of the weapons, for example the bombs or the sling, and the new stuff like that, went unused for me. Some of them had really cool effects, like being able to throw the bomb and have bees be all over the enemy and stuff like that is really cool, but I just found it wasn't as effective as using my club or my spear, so I stayed away from it.
Wenja!
A huge theme in the Far Cry series has always been man versus nature, and this does play a role in this game. Early in the game, before you have any beasts tamed, the nighttime is extremely scary. You'll often be overcome by packs of wolves trying to get at you, and you'll have to light a torch and make sure they back off. This causes the player to feel a real feeling of dread and fear when you're trying to sneak through at nighttime. Because to capture enemy encampments, if you're trying to sneak, the nighttime is way more effective. But you have to be really careful to watch out for animals. The only problem with this is once you have a decent beast, it'll scare away all the predators during the nighttime. So nothing will attack you. You can walk through during the night like it's nothing. Again, a huge missed opportunity here. Imagine the situations you could get in with your animal if you're with your bear and there's a pack of wolves and you gotta fight them off or else they're gonna kill you and eat you. Something like that would have made the game so much more interesting and gotten the players invested and actually feeling something when playing this game, rather than what it is now, just walking through with your beast feeling like you're a frickin' badass. It's just disappointing a little bit. Overall, Far Cry Primal is really similar to previous games in the Far Cry series, with the good and with the bad. The new changes that they've added work well to keep that new, fresh feeling in this series, and so that it doesn't get boring and stale for players, longtime players of the Far Cry series. But what really holds this game back is the weak plot and the lackluster characters and main villain, and the missed opportunities for incredible moments. I was just amazed at all the things that they could have done and could have had really epic moments that they just kind of, I guess, missed or forgot about. So for that reason, my final verdict for Far Cry Primal is a 7 out of 10. It's a good game. I gotta give my respect out to Ubisoft and the developers behind Far Cry Primal for what they've done to make Far Cry Primal feel fresh and stand out from the rest of the Far Cry series. While I am disappointed with the missed opportunities, like I said, I'm also impressed with how they've managed to keep that fresh feeling. I know it's real tough for series who've had a lot of success with a lot of games to recreate themselves and still work. And I really feel like Far Cry Primal has done this. Well, that's it for Far Cry Primal. I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we hope to see you next time on Yes Guy Gaming.